Golden Radio Hour.
Gunsmoke, brought to you by Chesterfield, America's most popular two-way cigarette. What a pair. Chesterfield King Size at the new low price. Chesterfield Regular.
Around Dodge City and in the territory on West, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of Gunsmoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad, the transcribed story of the violence that moved west with young America, and the story of a man who moved with it.
I'm that man, Matt Dillon, United States Marshal. The first man they look for and the last they want to meet. It's a chancy job, and it makes a man watchful and a little lonely.
Headed for the depot?
Oh, no, I'm not, Chester. I'm looking for a cup of coffee. Thought I'd go into Delmonico's here. You want to join me?
Well, sure, I'd like to, but maybe I better go on down to the depot.
Oh, what for?
The mail. I never got there at noon. That's why I thought you was going now.
Well, I don't care about the mail, Chester. Yeah, but come to think of it, you did start out at noon, didn't you? What happened?
I got robbed.
Got robbed?
Yes, sir. Over at the Alfraganza.
Oh, you've been gambling all afternoon, huh?
Not all afternoon, Mr. Dillon. I watched the game for about an hour before I set in.
Well, you should have gone on watching it.
Oh, yes, sir, you're right. Absolutely right. Cost me my last $10. But I thought sure I'd win this time.
Oh, why?
Because it was my last $10 for the month. I had to.
Well, that's about as good a reason for winning as any, I guess.
Yes, sir. You know, there's just too much month for my pay, Mr. Dillon. Anyway, I might have won if I hadn't got cheated.
Oh, it's a crooked game?
The fellow dealing was crooked, and I know he was. But I sure didn't want to start no argument with him. No, sir, not him.
Well, why? Who was he?
I don't know. Some stranger calls himself Sam Kircher.
What?
Sam Kircher. You know him?
Oh, but I've heard of him.
Who is he?
He's a gunman, Chester.
Oh, I recognize that. That's why I didn't make no fuss about his crooked dealing.
Well, you were smart. Kircher's the kind of man who enjoys killing. He's got a big reputation for it out in Arizona.
Well, what's he doing here, I wonder?
I don't know, Chester. But let's go find out.
That's him, Mr. Dillon. Just getting up from the table over there. I guess the game's finished.
Funny you'd tell you his name, Chester. A man like that usually doesn't talk so much.
No, sir, but I didn't think nothing about it at the time. He's coming over here at the bar, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah.
Glass of whiskey, bartender.
Hello, Kircher.
Where you been, Dillon?
What?
Took you long enough to get here. It's been a half hour since I cheated your friend here out of his money.
Cheated me, you see? I told you he did. But how do you know I was a friend of Mr. Dillon?
I asked. Smart of me, wasn't it?
What'd you ask for? What difference it make?
Never mind, Chester. What are you doing in Dodge, Kircher?
I got tired of Arizona.
Why?
Nobody left worth bothering about there.
You mean there's nobody left worth your killing, is that it?
Man can get rusty facing down bums and greenhorns, Dillon.
What's the matter with Tombstone? Wyatt Earp wrote me it's a lively town these days.
Oh, too many of them Earps. And they got Doc Halliday with them, too. And be a fool to ride into that camp.
Well, you draw a line somewhere, don't you?
One man at a time's good enough for me, Dillon. I ain't greedy.
Now, you're kind of greedy about money.
What do you mean?
You admitted cheating Chester out of his $10.
I had a reason for that, Dillon.
Now, did you?
Yeah. He was hanging around watching the game, and I found out who he was. So when he sat down, I took him. I can deal faster than that. I wanted him to know and run tell you about it.
Why?
I wanted to meet you, Dillon. Always like to get to know the leading citizens of a place.
You got your own way of going about it.
Are you objecting?
Ordinarily, I object to cheating at cards, yeah. But with you, I don't think it matters much. Now, what are you doing in Dodge, Kircher?
I was nearby, up in Colorado. I heard about you there, Dillon. You've got quite a reputation.
I'm a lawman, Kircher, not a gunman. I don't care about my reputation.
I do.
Yeah. You came here to kill me, huh?
That's what I came for, Dillon.
Kircher, I'm going to tell you something.
What?
Men like you are as useless as wolves. I hate every one of your kind.
And that'll make it easier for you to fight me, Dillon. I'll meet you out in the plaza, sundown tomorrow.
What a pair.
What a buy.
We're talking about king-size Chesterfield at the new low price. And Chesterfield Regular. They're the quality twins. The best cigarette ever made. Either way you like them, you get the same highest quality, same low nicotine, the same wonderful taste and mildness, a refreshing smoke every time. So change to Chesterfield, America's most popular two-way cigarette. Buy a carton today. You get highest quality with king-size Chesterfield at the new low price. You get highest quality with Chesterfield Regular. What a pair they are. They satisfy millions. They're best for you.
Dillon?
Huh?
I've been thinking about sundown all day long. I feel terrible about this.
No, why? It isn't your trouble.
Yes, sir, I know, but if I hadn't sat in that game yesterday, things might be different.
Sam Kirchard have found me soon enough. That's what he said he came here for.
I heard him. But I still feel guilty.
What's the matter, Chester? You afraid he'll kill me?
Is he really good?
Well, he's beat a lot of men.
You're going to fight him, ain't you?
Yeah, that's the worst part of this job, Chester, having men like Sam Kircher come around looking for another notch on his gun. There's nothing I can do about it.
Well, you don't have to fight him, Mr. Dillon.
No, I don't. I could avoid it.
How?
Run away?
Oh. Look out the window here, Mr. Dillon. The plaza's plumb deserted.
Sure.
Guess the word's got around. Mr. Dillon,
Yeah, what?
he's coming. Sam Kircher. Walking across the plaza.
Well, must be sundown.
Yes, sir, it is.
Don't come out the door, Chester, or you'll be behind me. I'm only going as far as the boardwalk.
I won't. I'll stay right here. But if anything happens, then I'm coming out, by golly.
Don't be a fool.
Come on out in the street, Dillon. What you standing there for? What's the matter with you? You scared? Why don't you come down here, Dillon? There's a lot of people hid out watching us. Been a long time since a marshal was killed in Dodge.
I don't want to hear your talk, Kircher. Let's get this over with.
You did it, Mr. Dillon. Why, he didn't hardly have his gun out before you hit him the first time. I was watching him.
I didn't wait for him. I drew first.
You did?
Giving a man a chance to be arrested is one thing. Shooting down a killer's another.
Yes, sir.
This is nothing but slaughter. Brainless slaughter. Like I said, it's the worst part of this miserable job. I guess it helped, ridding the country of a man like Sam Kircher. Shooting him down, killing him. But the trouble was that it made you feel like a part of his own senselessness when you did it. And everybody congratulating you afterwards and looking up to you. That didn't help any. That's one thing that got men like Kircher started off wrong in the first place. All the talk, all the admiration for gunfighters. Like with a kid I met at the Texas Trail one night a couple of months later. He was sitting with Kitty when I came in.
Evening, Matt. Tom.
Ah, thanks, Kitty.
This is Marshal Dillon, Pate.
I know. I've seen him.
Pate, huh? Well, I never saw you around before, Pate.
He rode in yesterday, Matt. His first time. Good thing, too. He's only 16.
Yeah, that's young, especially for a town like Dodge. Where you from, Pate?
On west of here.
Cowboy?
I was.
That's what I've been arguing with him about, Matt. He says he's through being a cowboy.
Oh, is that so? Why?
I got other things to do.
Like what?
I'm going to buy me a gun, Marshal.
A gun?
Sure. And I'm going to learn to use it, too. A man's no good without a gun.
Oh?
Pate, you start carrying a gun and you get handy with it, and you'll grow up to be a U.S. Marshal or something.
Ah, Kitty.
I mean it. I never saw a man start using a gun yet that he didn't have to go on using it the rest of his life. However long that is.
Tell me something, Pate. What, gave you this idea?
What's wrong with it? Everybody carries a gun. Of course, everybody can't use them real good, but I'll learn. I'll get good. Good as you are, Marshal.
Oh?
Sure. Maybe even better. Who knows?
That's what I mean. It all leads to nothing but getting killed. Who cares how good you are with a gun? There's always somebody better.
She's right, Pete. Why don't you forget about this and go find yourself a job out in the country somewhere and go to work, huh?
I'm going to have to, Marshal. I'm plumb broke right now.
Oh, good. That's fine. You know anybody around here?
Nope.
Well, look, I'll tell you. Emmett Bowers is due in town tomorrow. He runs a big outfit, and he can always use an extra hand. You meet me in the lobby of the Dodge House tomorrow morning, and, well, we'll have a talk with him.
Okay. I better be going now. I gotta find me a place to sleep.
Oh, Pete. Here's $1. You can pay me back later.
No, I couldn't take it. No, thanks. Good night. Good night, Kitty.
So long, Pate.
Good night.
He's got a lot of pride, that kid.
Yeah. But it's mostly the wrong kind.
Maybe. Well, he'll probably forget about this gunfighting business once he's back out in the country where he belongs.
Well, I hope so. There are enough gunmen around already.
Oh, Pate's all right. Don't worry about him.
No, I won't, Kitty. Unless he comes back someday. Pate was at the Dodge House next morning, and we found Emmett Bowers there and got him a job right off. They rode out of town together that evening, and I watched him go, hoping that a lot of hard work would give Pate something to think about besides becoming a gunfighter. Anyway, I'd done what I could, and I forgot about it. Till a couple of months later, when I happened to go into Jonah's General Store.
Well, morning, Marshal Dillon.
Hello, Miss Jonas. Well, how come you're running the store?
Why, hadn't you heard, Marshal?
Oh, no, heard what?
My husband's got the ague real bad. I've been taking care of him and running the store, too.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that, ma'am. But how do you manage to do both?
Well, I moved his bed into the storeroom out back. Matter of fact, Doc Adams is in there with him now.
Oh?
Oh, that poor man, Marshal. He's had chills one day and fever the next for nigh on to a week.
Well, Doc will fix him up. Doc can cure almost anything.
I can cure anything but a liar, Matt.
What? Oh, hello, Doc. I didn't know you were listening.
I was listening and I heard what you said. And it was a long way from what you told me the other day.
Why, what do you mean, Doc?
Mrs. Jonas, he told me the only thing croakers were good for was performing autopsies and signing death certificates. That's exactly what he said.
Death certificate?
Now, don't let him scare you, ma'am. Nobody ever died of ague yet, doctor or no doctor.
Oh, Matt, why aren't you out patrolling Front Street or keeping the peace somewhere like you're paid to do?
Man can't work all the time, Doc.
Oh, we can. Yes, well, I'll just remember that the next time you come hounding me out of bed in the middle of the night to patch up some bad man that you've just torn apart.
When you're through here, I'll buy you a glass of beer, Doc. It's awful hot today.
Yeah, I don't mind the heat. I'll take you up on it, though. Just say, Mrs. Jonas, if your husband complains about his ears roaring, it's the quinine I gave him. So just you don't worry about it.
Oh, all right.
Marshal.
Well, hello, Pate. How are you?
I'm okay.
Oh, Pate, you know Miss Jonas here?
Ma'am?
Hello, Pate.
And Doc Adams.
Howdy do.
Doc?
Pate's been riding for Emmett Bowers the last couple of months.
Oh, that's fine. Emmett's a good boss, I've always heard.
He's all right.
They treating you okay out there?
It's like any other job punching cows, Marshal. Short grub and long hours.
Yeah, sure. Oh, what you doing in town? Did you come in with Emmett?
No. I come in alone.
No? You, didn't quit, did you?
I quit. I drew my time last night.
Yeah, I was afraid so.
Ma'am?
Mm-hmm.
I want me a 6-gun and a holster and a belt. And all the ammunition the rest of my money will buy.
Well, now, son, ain't you a little young to be carrying a gun?
I'm 16. And if I'm old enough to do a man's work, I guess I'm old enough to live like a man.
Live like a man? You mean die like one, don't you, young fella?
I ain't afraid to die.
I don't know. I've dug bullets out of all kinds of men, young and old. And no matter how they talk, every one of them's been afraid.
I get good enough, I'll do the killing. If I'm given a decent chance.
Pate, tell me something. How'd you get started on all this in the first place?
I don't mind telling you, Marshal. Now I got money for a gun, and I can start practicing.
Oh, wait a minute. Is there some particular man you're after? Is that it?
Yeah. That's it, Marshal.
Well, who is he?
You.
Me?
I'm going to fight you, Marshal. And I'm going to kill you if I can.
Well, why? I never saw you before in my life till you came here.
Pate's my first name, Marshal.
So?
My last name's Kircher. I heard about how you shot my brother, so I come here to take his place.
Pate, Sam Kircher was nothing but a killer. He was no good.
You drew first on him.
What difference does it make? Your brother came after me for only one reason, to kill me so he could be a big man. You think I'm going to take a chance being killed for anything as brainless as that?
There's rules to gunfighting, Marshal. He wasn't ready to draw.
Where'd you get all these crazy ideas, kid? Who taught you that killing people is a game of some sort?
My brother told me all about it a long time ago.
Yeah, sure. Now, for him, it was a game. That's what was wrong with him.
He'd have beat you if he'd have been ready.
Pate, do you wait for a mad dog to bite you before you try to stop him? And your brother was ready. He rode into Dodge ready.
Well, I'll be ready for you. In a few weeks, I will.
You will, huh? Look, Pate, I've been handling a gun for years. What makes you think that you can go against me in a few weeks? Unless you're planning something else.
No, Marshal, I'll never shoot anybody in the back, not even you.
You're not bad, Pate, but you sure got everything mixed up.
Why? Because I'm only 16? You'll see what I can do, Marshal. You'll see.
Well, what if I won't draw on you?
I'll kill you anyway. Like you say, what difference does it make?
All right. If you're going to act like your brother, I'll treat you like your brother. And when you come gunning for me, I'll shoot you down as fast as I did him. So go ahead and practice. Practice all you like. But when you face me, I'll have 3 bullets in you before you clear your holster. I don't care how old you are.
Your best cigarette buy today is Chesterfield. There's Chesterfield King Size at the new low price. And for your convenience, Chesterfield Regular. What a pair. Either way, you get the taste and mildness you want. A refreshing smoke every time. Either way, you get highest quality, low nicotine. Buy a carton of Chesterfields. They're best for you.
In regular or king size, you can get 'em either way. The best smoke ever made's the Chesterfield you buy today. Smokers coast to coast are changing, it's a cinch to do. Here's all you have to say to get the one that's best for you. Chesterfield's for me, Chesterfield's for me. You just say it's Chesterfield's for me.
If I thought getting mad would scare some sense into Pate Kircher, I was wrong. He went ahead and bought his 6-gun, and every day he spent hours down by the Arkansas practicing with it. In a few years, that kind of concentration might have made him into a fair gunfighter, but as it turned out, he didn't get a few years. He didn't get more than about 10 days, and those 10 days got spent fast. One evening, I was sitting on the porch not far from the Texas Trail, watching the crowd push up and down Front Street.
Oh, hello, Marshal.
Hello, John.
Matt,
Oh, hello, Kitty.
Matt, Chester's in the trail there, and he asked me to come find you.
Well, why? What's the trouble?
You know Jack Reining?
Yeah, I know him.
Well, he's at the bar in there, and he's making fun of young Pate. Chester isn't sure how much Pate's going to take from him.
Oh, Ryan's more than just a bully, Kitty. He's dangerous.
Well, Chester tried to make him stop, but it didn't do any good, Matt.
I hope Pate isn't fool enough to try to take him. Ryan will kill him, sure, if he does.
I tried to tell him he shouldn't be wearing a gun, but you know Pate. He won't listen to anybody.
You better wait out here.
I aim to.
Leave the kid alone, Ronnie. He ain't bothering you none.
Get out of the way, Chester. Everybody else, get out of the way, too. I'm giving you one more chance, Faith. You throw that gun away or you start using it.
Go ahead and draw, Ryan. I ain't afraid of you.
Okay. I will.
No, don't do it, Ronnie. No. Ah!
All right, shut up, everybody.
My hand.
Shut up.
You busted my hand, Marshal. What'd you do that for? You think you're a fight? It's like shooting a man in the back. You ruined my hand.
You were about to murder this boy, Ryan, and I should have shot you in the head. Now go on over to Doc's if your hand bothers you.
It bothers me. It's smashed.
Good. I wonder how many lives that's going to save. Now go on. Get out of here.
I'm going. You ruined me. That's what you've done. We'll see about this.
Oh, he'd have killed him, sure, Mr. Dillon. Pate never even got his gun out.
That's true, I didn't. I kind of froze. I don't know why.
Pate, Jack Ryan's the same kind of man your brother was, always looking to kill somebody. And if you still think it's a game of some kind, go on wearing that gun. And when the time comes, I'll see you buried with it. But that's all I'll do for you. All right, come on, Chester, let's get out of here.
Yes, sir.
Marshal. Marshal, wait a minute. Marshal?
Yeah.
You saved my life just now.
He sure did. One more second, you'd have had a bullet clean through you.
I know that. But I don't understand.
What don't you understand?
Well, you could have let him kill me, and then I wouldn't be after you no more, would I?
Not dead, you wouldn't.
But you saved the life of a man who sworn to kill you, Marshal.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, why'd you do it?
Because you didn't have a chance with him, Peyton. Not a chance.
I'm kind of confused, Marshal.
You are?
I sure am.
Now, it's about time. Now, maybe you'll figure it out now, Pete, if you give yourself half a chance.
Marshal, I always could think better when I'm riding a horse. I'm going back to my job.
Good. I'm glad to hear that, Pete.
Would you do me a favor?
Sure.
Well, punching cows will keep me so busy I won't have time to practice much. Would you hold on to my gun for me?
What?
Here.
Yeah, sure I will, Pete. Sure I will. I'll keep it for you. For a long time, I hope.
L&M goes king size. Yes, L&M goes king size. Now, L&M is king size as well as regular. Both have the same low price. Both have the miracle tip for the effective filtration you need. Yes, it's the filter that counts, and L&M has the best. You get much more flavor, much less nicotine, a light and mild smoke. Yes, this is it. L&M filters, just what the doctor ordered. Buy a carton, king size or regular, both at the same low price. L&M filters, America's highest quality and best filter tip cigarette.
Gunsmoke, produced and directed by Norman McDonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Tonight's story was specially written for Gunsmoke by John Meston, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Featured in the cast were Sam Edwards, Lawrence Dobkin, Vivi Janis, and John Daner. Harley Bear is Chester, Howard McNear is Doc, and Georgia Ellis is Kitty. Join us again next week as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, fights to bring law and order out of the wild violence of the West in Gunsmoke. Remember, next week at this same time, Chesterfield will bring you another transcribed story of the Western frontier on Gunsmoke. This is the CBS Radio Network.
America's most popular two-way cigarette. What a pair. Chesterfield king size at the new low price. Chesterfield regular.
Around Dodge City and in the territory on West, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of Gunsmoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad, the transcribed story of the violence that moved west with young America, and the story of a man who moved with it.
I'm that man, Matt Dillon, United States Marshal. The first man they look for and the last they want to meet. It's a chancy job, and it makes a man watchful and a little lonely.
You there.
Oh, you talking to me?
What's it look like I'm doing?
I guess I put your fella asleep sitting here. Hot today, ain't it?
I didn't come to Dodge to talk about the weather.
A stranger here, ain't you?
Looking for the sheriff. Where do I find him?
You won't find him.
What?
There ain't no sheriff in Dodge. Maybe I can help you. I'm Chester Proudfoot.
Well, I'm real pleased to know you, Chester. Now, if you quit lying to me
Don't
and tell
snap
me...
your teeth at me. I ain't lying. But if you're looking for the law, there's a U.S. Marshal here.
U.S. Marshal? That's even better. Where is he?
Inside. Follow me. This fella here is looking for the law, Mr. Dillon.
Oh? I come in.
You the U.S. Marshal?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, my name's Brake, Marshal. I'm from Mingo.
Mingo, that's way north of here, ain't it?
It's a couple of 100 miles. And I rode all the way down here on the tail of a man called Hank Springer. I thought he'd come to jump to Santa Fe for St. Louis, but I tracked him right into that place up the street there, the Dodge House. He's got him a room, and he's holed up in it.
Is that so?
I almost caught him this morning. Leastwise, I got close enough to put a bullet in his leg, but it didn't stop him. He's dangerous, Marshal, and I want your help taking him.
What do you want him for, Brake?
Murder.
Oh?
I killed a fellow called Dobie on his ranch near Mingo. Oh, here. Here, Marshal, I got a warrant for him. Here, see?
Ah. So you're a deputy, huh?
That's what the sheriff made me. He wanted somebody to go after Hank Springer, and I took the job.
Well, that's one way of doing it. Why didn't the sheriff come after him himself?
Well, he didn't want to bother, I guess. Anyway, he's going to give me $50 when I get back with Hank, dead or alive.
Uh-huh. So the sheriff up at Mingo will pay somebody, most anybody, $50 to do his work for him.
That's his business, Marshal.
Well, then why don't you go arrest this Hank Springer? You got a warrant. You're a deputy.
No, he's laying up in that room armed and hurt, and he ain't going to take easy. You're a U.S. Marshal, and you got to help me.
Well, maybe there'll be less trouble if I do. Chester, go get Doc Adams. One man's already been shot. What room's he in, Brake?
Second door down there. 14.
Doc,
I'm here, Matt.
you better stay where you are. We won't need you till the shooting's over.
I'll wait.
You stay back, too, huh, Chester?
Yes, sir.
All right, Brake. Sing out. But let's make sure it's your man Springer in there.
Hank? Hank Springer. We got you trapped. Come on out.
Who's that?
Bill Brake. from Mingo. I've been deputized to take you back.
What for, Briggs?
You know darn well what for. For murdering Dobie.
I didn't murder Dobie, nor no one else.
Then why'd you run?
Heard the sheriff was trying to stick me with it. You go in and leave me alone, or I will kill somebody.
Wait a minute, Brick. Springer, this is Matt Dillon. I'm a U.S. Marshal. I want to talk to you.
Marshal, huh? What are you doing there?
Well, I brought a doctor along to take that bullet out of your leg as soon as you open this door.
No. Don't you try opening that door neither.
Listen to me. Fighting the law won't help you. But if you didn't kill Dobie, all you have to do is go back and prove where you were when it happened.
I didn't kill him, Marshal. I swear I didn't.
Oh, that lie. Shut up, Brick. Springer, if you didn't do it, stop acting like you did. Nothing's going to happen to you if you're innocent. They can't hang you without you proving you did it.
Well, maybe you're right, Marshal.
Of course I'm right.
One thing, though, I won't go back in no handcuffs.
What?
I won't go back in handcuffs.
There's a warrant out for you. You're going back under arrest.
Not in handcuffs, not like no chained-up dog. That's the one thing I couldn't stand. I'll die fighting first.
Brick, you can take this man back without handcuffing him, can't you?
Well, sure. Sure. I
Springer, Brick says he won't handcuff you.
Let's hear him say it.
Well, all right, tell him, Brick.
I won't handcuff you, Hank.
That's a promise.
That's a promise.
You swear?
I gave you my word.
You say you got a doctor with you, Marshal.
He's standing right here, Springer.
Okay.
All right, Springer, put your hands out that door empty.
I ain't going to fight, Marshal.
Hold your gun on him, Marshal. He might try something.
Get
yet.
out of the way, Brick. Okay. Now take your gun, Springer.
Yes, sir, sure, Marshal.
All right, now go lie down on the bed. Doc, come on in here, huh?
Coming, man. Now, then, you take those pants off, young fella. Let me have a look at that leg.
Here's his gun, Brick.
Sure. I didn't think he'd have the guts to use it.
Matt,
Yeah, how does it look, Doc?
there's no bullet in him. It went right through the flesh, here, and out here. I'll just clean it up a little bit and take a few stitches.
How soon will he be able to travel, Doc?
Well, he ought to wait a couple of days.
Couple of days. I want to get back to Mingo.
This man will leave when I say he's ready, and not before.
He's my prisoner, ain't he?
You heard him, Brick. And another thing, you made a promise you wouldn't put handcuffs on him. See that you keep it.
Why, sure, Marshal. Of course I will.
Now, Chester,
Yes, sir.
I'll be over at the OK stable for a couple of hours. I told Kitty I'd look at a horse she's thinking about buying.
Okay, sir.
You better keep an eye on things here for a while, huh? You know where to find me if there's any trouble.
Almost 100 years ago, Charles Kingsley wrote that tobacco is a lone man's companion, a bachelor's friend, a hungry man's food, a sad man's cordial, a wakeful man's sleep, and a chilly man's fire. These words describe what Chesterfield means to millions of smokers today. You and I smoke for relaxation, for comfort, for satisfaction, and in the whole wide world, no cigarette satisfies like a Chesterfield. Only Chesterfield has the right combination of the world's best tobaccos. Highest in quality, low in nicotine. Best for you. Buy 'em king size at the new low price, or regular. Get a carton of Chesterfields today.
Kitty?
You've been on him an hour. Is that all you got to say? Did I buy him or not?
Not for $40, Kitty.
What's wrong with him?
Oh, nothing I can see.
But he's not worth $40.
Oh, you can buy a lot of horse for that much money, Kitty.
I like this one.
Oh, hello, Marshal.
Hello, John. Look, Kitty, you don't get time to ride very often. Why don't you rent a horse when you want one, huh?
Because I want to own a horse. What's the point of working if you can't own something now and then?
Okay, Kitty. All right, now start at 25 and don't give him $1 more than 30.
You mean I got to get into one of those horse trading affairs? Where you spend the whole day sitting on your heels and scratching at the dirt with a straw? Trying to think of a million ways to avoid coming right out with what you're really there for? No, thanks. I can make $10 faster than that.
All right, Kitty. I'll try to make the deal for you.
Oh, wait a minute. After all, I'm a woman. Maybe I can get him a little confused.
Huh?
You know? I'll bet I can buy that horse for $20. Hey, Chester, how do you like my new horse?
Fine, Miss Kitty, fine, but I don't have time to look at him now.
Oh, what's the matter, Chester?
Well, it's Hank Springer, Mr. Dillon. What happened, you see, I went downstairs to cool myself off with a couple of beers, and when I got back to his room, he was gone.
Gone?
Yes, sir. Doc had already left, and I was only away for about an hour. I had a feeling something was going to happen.
Well, where's Brake? Wasn't he watching him?
Well, that's the bad part of it. Brake's there, all right, but he's dead.
What?
I took a good look at him, Mr. Dillon. There's no bullet hole in him, but his neck's all swole. Well, Hank Springer choked him to death with his bare hand, that's what.
Oh, no wonder he wanted Brake to promise not to handcuff him.
And another thing, Mr. Dillon, when I asked the clerk, he remembered seeing Hank run out and grab a horse from the hitching rail.
Well, he's got a good start on us. See you when we get back, Kitty. There was no way of telling how good a horse Hank Springer had stolen from the hitching rail, but Chester and I had mounts that we'd trained for this sort of a ride. And about dusk, the sign on his trail told us that we were getting closer to it. It was just after dark when we spotted a campfire in a cottonwood grove. We slowed down as we rode up to it.
Hey, those trees would make an awful good ambush, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah.
I don't see nobody around that fire.
Let's spread out a little, Chester.
Okay, sir.
All right, that's far enough. Start shooting, Chester. He can't get both of us.
I ain't shooting no more.
All right, then throw down your gun and move up to the fire where we can see you.
I am. I'm doing it. I got my hands up.
Right in, Chester, but keep separated.
There he is. I can see him. Don't shoot me. I didn't know who it was.
Why, that ain't Hank Springer, Mr. Dillon.
No. My name's Jones. I'm a buffalo hunter. I thought it was him coming back.
Who's him?
I don't know. I don't know who he was.
Step over this way, mister, out of the firelight. I don't want to get shot at anymore tonight.
It was a mistake, I tell you. I wouldn't have shot at you if I could have seen who it was. You can't blame me. Not with a man like that running loose.
Look, mister, I'm on the trail of a murderer. A man named Hank Springer. He's a young fellow, and he's got a bad leg.
That's him. That's him. He's a murderer, sure enough. He killed my partner not over an hour ago. What? My partner's lying in them bushes over there. I wrapped him up in his saddle blanket so I could bury him tomorrow.
Well, how'd it happen?
Well, sir, we was cooking something to eat, and that fella rode up and wanted to trade horses. My partner said no. But Springer got down and said he'd take the horse anyway. And my partner tried to stop him. And, well, he got shot that way, and now he's dead.
Oh. Springer rode north, didn't he?
Yes, sir. And I tell you something else. The horse he took ain't going to carry him far. That horse got his lungs frosted last winter.
Well, that'll help.
There's a cabin 5 miles straight ahead, the way he was going. He can't get no further than that. All them people got there is a balky old mule.
Good. I'm sorry about your partner, mister, but we'll try to catch Springer before he kills anybody else. Come on, Chester. There was no moon that night, and it was pitch dark, so we had to guess at riding straight. But
Well, we managed pretty well. And in about an hour, we saw the lights of a cabin off to our left. We rode over, left our horses 100 yards from it, and then went the rest of the way on foot. We could hear voices inside, so we sneaked up to the window.
I'm telling you, lady, I can't wait much longer. Are you sure you ain't lying to me?
It's Hank Springer, Mr.
There
Dillon.
ain't no
It's him
reason
right now.
why I should lie to you. My husband should have been back before this. But it won't do you no good when he does come. You won't get far on that mule of ours.
Well, what's wrong with your mule?
Nothing, except for being ornery and stubborn.
I'll get him over that fast enough.
You can have the mule, mister. I don't care about that. But don't hurt my husband, please.
Lady, I don't want to hurt nobody. Listen, they get in my way like some has done lately.
You're an outlaw, ain't you?
Never you mind. Look, when your husband walks in here, don't you give me away.
All I ask is you don't shoot him.
Chester.
I won't shoot him
Come
if
on
he
here.
starts it. But ain't going to get shot neither.
We better do something quick before her husband gets back, Mr. Dillon.
Look, I got an idea, Chester. If that woman's at all smart, it might work.
What?
You get out there in front of the cabin, but far enough away so nobody can see you. And then you yell for her.
Yell for her?
Pretend you're her husband. Tell her to come out and give you a hand with a mule.
Yeah, but what'll I call her? I don't know her name.
Call her wife or woman, anything like that. It doesn't matter. She'll know it isn't her husband.
Where'll you be at?
Right against the wall by the front door. He won't trust her to come out alone. And when he comes out, I'll take him. All right, get going.
Okay.
By the morning, so while we're waiting, you might just fix me some bread and some meat to take along, ma'am.
Bread and meat. Pork, fat, and beans is all I got around here, mister.
Well, I could eat some of that.
Hey, wife, come on out here and give me a hand.
Who's that?
Woman, get on out here. If there's this mule won't take another step.
That's your husband.
No.
Don't try to fool me. Open that door. No, wait a minute. Put the light out first. All right, now open it, or else you think something's wrong.
What is taking you so long? I gotta sit out here all night.
Answer him.
I'm coming, Jack.
Now go on. I'll walk right behind you. Go on now.
All right.
All right, come on in, Chester.
Who are you? Where'd you come from?
I'm Marshal Dillon from Dodge, man. You got nothing to worry about. Hank Springer's killed his last man.
Who's this? I knew it wasn't Jack.
Oh, it worked fine, didn't it, Mr. Dillon? He walked into it like a lamb to slaughter. Good evening, ma'am.
Hello.
Get his gun, Chester.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, ma'am, is your husband really coming back tonight?
Yes, he is, Marshal.
Well, we'll spend the night here if you'll let us. But I'd like to borrow that mule in the morning. Hank Springer wanted to ride him up to Mingo. And I'm going to see that he does.
There are more than 60 million cigarette smokers in America who smoke many brands. In choosing your cigarette, be sure to remember this. You will like Chesterfield best because only Chesterfield has the right combination of the world's best tobaccos. Highest in quality, low in nicotine. Best for you. You and I smoke for relaxation, for comfort, for satisfaction. And in the whole wide world, no cigarette satisfies like a Chesterfield. Yes, you'll get the greatest possible pleasure from a cigarette when you choose Chesterfield. The right combination of the world's best tobaccos. Highest in quality, low in nicotine. Therefore, best for you. Buy 'em king size at the new low price, or regular. Get a carton of Chesterfields today.
We started out next morning, and it took us 2 days to get to Mingo. But not so much because of the mule as because of Hank Springer's leg. I was willing to stop and let him ease it for a day or so, but he said no. He'd rather get the ride over with. Beyond that, however, he didn't say anything until we rode into town. Mingo was a small place and out of the way of the cattle trails, so it was as quiet and peaceful as any frontier town could be.
There's the sheriff's office across the street.
Okay.
Well, no use to stop there, though.
Why not?
Sheriff don't use it much. Most of the time he's gambling over at the Golden Girl.
That's it. The Golden Girl down the street there, see?
Well, I'm not turning any prisoner over to a sheriff at a gambling table. You ride on ahead, Chester, and tell him to come outside.
All right, sir, I'll do it.
Springer? Well, there's still time to tell me. There's something I'm sure curious about.
You can ask me, Marshal.
Why in the world did you head back up here?
I'm Jim Powell.
Who's Jim Powell?
I figured it out, Marshal. It was him that killed Dobie.
Oh. Well, you can tell him that in court, I guess. Now, here we are. Let's get on.
All right. Oh. Marshal.
Yeah.
You still think I'm lying, don't you?
Well, I don't know, Springer. But it doesn't matter much what I think, does it?
Oh, I guess not. But I can prove I didn't do it.
Then why did you run in the first place?
Well, I knew he was after me. I got scared. Shouldn't have, but I did. And there's a sheriff.
Marshal Dillon, I'm Sheriff Bradley.
Hello?
The man here told me all about what happened. I'll take charge of Hank Springer now.
Look, I'm going to get a fair trial. Ain't I, Sheriff?
I don't talk to murderers, Hank. I don't care about that buffalo hunter, but killing Brake's a different matter. He was my deputy.
Well, if you hadn't have picked a coward for deputy, I wouldn't have had to kill him.
What do you mean, a coward?
He was a coward and a liar, both.
Wait a minute. What are you saying, Hank?
Well, Brake promised me he wouldn't put no handcuffs on me. He swore he wouldn't, didn't he, Marshal?
He did?
Well, he got scared and he busted his word. I went crazy when he put them things on me, Marshal, and I choked him. And then I got the key. I took them handcuffs off and threw them away. Well, I had to run then.
You're a fool, Hank. If you'd have come back peaceful with Brake, you'd be a free man right now.
You mean you found out it was Jim Powell that killed Dobie?
Of course I did. Jim Powell got real drunk the other day and started bragging. Me and a couple other fellas got him in jail, and he confessed as soon as he sobered up. I knew you didn't do it, Hank. I knew it all along.
Well, then why was you saying I did? Why'd you come looking for me?
Well,
you just had to stick it onto somebody, didn't you? I should have figured that, knowing you.
You're gonna hang now anyway. What difference does it make?
Well, you'll be glad to see me hang, won't you, Sheriff?
I never did like you, Hank. That's why I picked you in the first place.
Hank.
What, Marshal?
I've changed my mind.
About what?
About turning you over to this rotten, worthless sheriff.
You can't talk like that.
Shut up! Hank hasn't committed any crime around here, so I'm taking him back to Dodge for trial.
He's my prisoner, Marshal. You can't cheat me out of him. I got a right to him.
You got nothing. And sheriff or no sheriff, I'll bend a six-gun across your head if I hear any more out of you. Well? All right, let's go, Hank.
All right, thank you, Marshal. I like that just fine. But first, Marshal, I want to go over to jail there. I'll tell Jim Powell I don't bear him no grudge for letting him chase me before he talked. Because he might feel bad about it, especially the trouble I'm in now.
Well, that's decent of you, Hank. Well, it's your jail, Sheriff, so take him. We'll wait outside. Come on.
Bet you sure ain't losing credit for bringing me to trial, don't you, Sheriff?
That's enough, Hank. Stop needling him.
did hate you, Hank.
Yeah, and I always
Stop it, I
noticed.
said.
All right, Marshal, I will. All right, take him in, Sheriff, but don't be long. We got to get started for Dodge.
Come on, Hank. You walk in front of me.
Mr. Dillon, a sheriff like that makes a man kind of ashamed, don't it? I mean, it makes people think the law don't amount to much.
Ah, the law's bigger than any one man, Chester.
Yes, sir, I guess so.
What?
Hey, that comes from the jail.
Yeah, it sure did.
Hank, Mr. Dillon, you've been shot.
All right, put the gun up, Sheriff.
He started to run.
Run where? Into a cell?
No. He jumped me first. I had to shoot him.
Well, he's dead.
It was his idea coming in here and trying to get away. He wanted my gun.
So he jumped you, huh?
He swung around, grabbed for my gun. I had to shoot him.
In the back?
I don't know where I shot him, Marshal. What difference does it make?
Hand me your gun, Sheriff.
What?
Your gun. Give it to me.
You're forgetting I'm the sheriff in this town, ain't you?
You're the sheriff, but I'm arresting you for murder.
No.
No?
Get away from me, Marshal.
He's just about to draw, Mr. Dillon.
No, he wasn't, Chester. But I wish he had. I'd rather have ridden back to Dodge without him. He's going to make mighty poor company.
L&M goes king size. Yes, L&M goes king size. Now, L&M is king size as well as regular. Both have the same low price. Both have the miracle tip for the effective filtration you need. Yes, it's the filter that counts. And L&M has the best. You get much more flavor, much less nicotine, a light and mild smoke. Yes, this is it. L&M filters, just what the doctor ordered. Buy a carton, king size or regular, both at the same low price. L&M filters, America's highest quality and best filter tip cigarette.
Gunsmoke, produced and directed by Norman McDonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Tonight's story was specially written for Gunsmoke by John Meston, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Featured in the cast were Lawrence Dobkin, Jack Crucian, John Daner, Joe Forte, and Irene Tedrow. Harley Bear as Chester, Howard McNear as Doc, and Georgia Ellis as Kitty. Join us again next week as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, fights to bring law and order out of the wild violence of the West in Gunsmoke. Remember, next week at this same time, Chesterfield will bring you another transcribed story of the Western frontier on Gunsmoke. This is the CBS Radio Network.
Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe.